So, the Silent Hill 2 Remake combat trailer has been floating around and breathing on the internet for more than a week now by the time I've uploaded this video, thanks to Sony's January 31st, 2024 State of Play. The complaints that the trailer has been getting is definitely valid. I think some of them are valid. I'm going to get into the non-valid ones later, but I'd like to talk about some of my genuine worries with this game before I talk about some of the unnecessary criticism that I do genuinely believe that the game has been receiving. First of all, starting with James and his attack animations and just his combat animations in general. They're not very good. I do genuinely believe that that can be 100% improved on, and I do think that it will be improved on by the time we hit to, get to launch or whatever. I just think that because the game is taking a level of inspiration from the Resident Evil remakes, that it needs to have, the sauce to compete. You know what I mean? If you're gonna have James from a over-the-shoulder, very close angle, swinging the wooden plank or the pipe or whatever, you need to polish that up a bit and make it look very, very good. Otherwise, it's not gonna really hold up a candle close to Resident Evil if that's what you're trying to do. And don't worry, I'll get to the Resident Evil criticism in a second. But another thing that I do genuinely believe can be improved on is the sound effects, especially the guns. They sound like trank darts. They don't sound like actual guns, they sound like blow darts, and I think that can 100% be changed, not even within a week of development. It's literally just changing a sound file. I can't imagine the studio will let that slide, and they'll see the criticism and they will 100% change that. It's not going to be a game-breaking change. You know what I mean? However, I know some of you are probably sitting here thinking, well, that's pretty valid criticism. Let me go ahead and watch this trailer and I'll probably agree with you on that. There is a lot of criticism that I do not deem valid, and it's likely criticism that come from people that actually haven't played Silent Hill 2 before. Now, I want to give a warning, I'm probably going to come off as a big elitist piece of shit through this video, and that's not what I'm trying to do. For anyone that's actually played Silent Hill 2, you'll understand where I'm coming from as this video goes on, and for those that haven't, don't feel upset. Emulation is a very, very easy thing to do, and so is buying the HD collection. I know the HD collection is very bad, but it's better than nothing. So please, I do urge you, for the people that like Silent Hill 2, and have not played it and just are very vocal about it, go ahead and play it. It's very, very easy to do nowadays, regardless of the fact that it's not on modern systems right now. So, what's the big problem? The fact that the complaints that Silent Hill 2 Remake has been getting are not very fucking stable at all. I have a tiny little list here of things that I want to go over a little bit in depth regarding the criticism and regarding the people who say it. Starting with the fact that we got a combat trailer in the first place. The majority of people who claim to be Silent Hill 2 fans say that a combat trailer is not necessary and we should not have gotten a combat trailer, and that there is not a lot of combat in Silent Hill 2, and they're trying to, they're changing my Silent Hill into Resident Evil. And to that, I have to say that complaint is an absolute bunch of steaming bullshit, because Silent Hill 2, if you've actually played the game, does indeed have combat in it. I think I can speak for the entirety of the Silent Hill 2 player base that, yes, the combat does indeed exist in Silent Hill 2. There are even areas in the game where you genuinely just cannot avoid it. What Silent Hill 2 excels in when it comes to its proposal of combat is how claustrophobic the areas are that make you fight. You don't want to fight because you think, well, I'm gonna mess this up and they're scary and I'm gonna wet my pants, but they force you to do it anyway because they put you in these claustrophobic areas and situations that do genuinely scare you and make you have to fight. A lot of people watching the remake trailer don't seem to understand that and just think that, well, this isn't like my video essay of Silent Hill 2 that I watched a year ago and became a fan of the game for. There is no combat. Well, in fact, there is combat in the original game, and I'm sad to say, a lot of it is simply unavoidable. A lot of combat also is avoidable, but in a combat trailer showcasing, like I said, the combat, I don't really think they'd want to showcase you running away from the enemy as opposed to what the actual combat system looks like. So, for anyone complaining that Silent Hill 2 Remake has too much combat, I think you're talking out of your fucking ass on that, because the areas shown also in the remake trailer are areas that in fact do have enemies in them, and you can choose to fight if you wish. So, I I just want to make that disclaimer pretty fucking clear that the game Silent Hill 2 for the PlayStation 2 that released in 2001 has fucking combat in it. Speaking of Silent Hill 2 for PlayStation 2 in 2001, the E3 trailer for Silent Hill 2 actually fucking put a showcase on the combat whenever gameplay showed up. I am aware that the trailer also showed a very, very large amount of story beats and was essentially just one big trailer promoting the game, but every single time they showed gameplay in that trailer back in 2001, it was combat focused. It had James running around slamming and gunning down enemies, and yeah, it was you know, something of what you would probably call a combat showcase, which is what Silent Hill 2 Remake just did like a week ago. But of course, Silent Hill 2 Remake doesn't have a video essay yet, so you can't really avoid that combat. You have to actually maybe see it first. Now, enough about the combat. I would like to glaze over the music choice for a second, because lots of Silent Hill fans don't really seem to like the music choice in the trailer, and as I'm talking about this little segment, I'm just gonna put a tweet in the center of the screen. I'm not going to move it, not going to give it a fancy transition, I'm just going to let that soak with you. Just let it soak in, just breathe it in as we're talking about this little segment here. So, a lot of people don't really seem to like the music choice for Silent Hill 2 Remake's combat trailer. They don't really seem to like the guitar, and they don't really seem to like the quote heavy music, and you know, it's a shame because that music was actually part of Silent Hill fucking 2 in 2001. Akira Yamaoka composed that soundtrack. He composed that OST, that song that was used in the trailer, and it's in the original game's fucking soundtrack. It does exist. Silent Hill 2, the original game, does have music like that, and the fact they put that in the trailer, there is no problem with that whatsoever. I genuinely do not see the problem with that at all. That's it. That's all I wanted to say for the music, because that is probably the dumbest point of criticism I've heard for the game as of yet. I am fully aware that people are very, very weary of Bloober Team and what they can do for this game, as am I. I'm very, very worried for the game. I understand why people are, in fact, pretty concerned and skeptical when it comes to this game's release. But to make the game as good as it can be, we need to complain about the right things. We can't convince Bloober Team that they're doing the wrong thing just because it doesn't fit the vibe that the internet has created for Silent Hill 2. The game doesn't live and breathe through video essays. You can play the game yourself, and you can clearly see that what you're seeing in this remake's trailer does indeed exist in the actual game itself. If you're upset that we got a combat trailer before the story trailer, I can totally get that. That's pure personal preference. But if we were to get a story trailer at the state of play, we were definitely going to get a combat trailer directly after it at some point, and that's probably what's going to happen vice versa now. The combat trailer came out and we're going to get a story trailer later. You were either going to see the combat now or later, and they just chose to give you it right now. That's just how the cookie crumbles. That's just how it is. Anyway, that's all I have to say for Silent Hill 2 Remake and defending it. I am, of course, very worried for the remake. I totally understand why people are very, very weary of Bloober Team, but I think we should definitely try and keep our complaints sort of chained up a little bit and maybe let out the valid ones as opposed to the silly ones. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video, and yeah, those fucking QuickTime events look fucking stupid, I'll give you that.